One clap. Hey, what's going on, diary? How are we doing today? I don't know if anyone's ever gonna see this, if I'm ever gonna see this myself again, but I feel like this is probably cliche, but let's get into this. This is obviously video diary where I upload what's going on, a little snippet, talk about my day each day. My therapist, Ellen, has been trying to get me to write in a journal what's been going on, and I thought since I like making YouTube videos and I have a love for filmmaking, or I guess just being a content creator, that I could just and have a video diary every day. I mean, who knows? Probably no one will see this, and some stuff will be embarrassing, but I feel like I should just do this and talk to a camera and just be my natural true self. And I think the best stuff, my best work comes when I just am able to flow and get everything out there. It's like get as much out as you can, because then you can refine it, and then you can just get as much out as you can, because if you stop yourself in the process trying to be a perfectionist and perfect everything, then you won't ever get better. So yeah. So I guess I'll talk about what's been going on today and how everything is. Today is the current date is September 15th, 2022. I am currently 20 years old. And today was a really interesting day. I mean, there wasn't really much out of the ordinary that went on with me today. There was some stuff here and there, me being me. I get myself into some situations. I'm not going to say necessarily anything illegal or against the law, but I just come into funny moments or stuff. I don't know why. Maybe it's like because God hates me. No, He doesn't, or they don't. But yeah, I just try and I find myself into situations. Let's see what went on today. I had some classes. Well, I had a class at 11. Well, first off, I had work, which actually was not as hard as it was because normally I have trouble getting to work and staying up during work because it's like a 6 a.m. shift, early opening shift, and I have trouble. But today I didn't really have trouble staying up, but which was surprisingly because I didn't get that much sleep. I got like 4.5 hours, four and a half, 5, and I was gonna pull an all-nighter, but then it's like I went to bed, I slept, I lay down in my bed for 10 minutes, and then I'm like I got up, and then I'm like I was up for another 10 minutes, and I was like maybe I should do an all-nighter, and then I'm like no, I'm actually really tired, I should go to bed, so I did that. So I wasn't too tired, but most of the times that I have done um gone to work and had that morning shift, I've been really tired, but I wasn't. And then I don't know what's been going on with me, or if I feel some type of way, or what's why I can't motivate myself, but I had an 11 a.m. discussion in calculus, and like I'm already kind of finding ways to wheeze out of it and like to make up excuses because I'm like because sorry, someone just texted me, a girl that I think is cute, just or she liked a message. I hate when that happens. They like a message, but they don't actually say anything. I'm not even with girls that I think that I like, just with anyone in general. Just there's no point. I don't need to get a notification that you like the message. Okay, thanks. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, is that I feel like I'm already finding ways to make shortcuts around school and that I'm not giving everything on my effort, which I feel like it's been every semester. And I definitely know that it's not good for me, for my schoolwork, mm, for just anything. Anyway, it's not good. And it's like, how do I motivate myself? Because I have long days every day. Most of the time, I get back to my dorm at late evening, like 8 o'clock, or sometimes a little bit sooner, like 7, and then it's like, well, that's the only time I really have time to do work or weekends because I have classes from like 1 to 5. And it's like, well, what do you do? Because it's like, I don't want to do, who wants to do work before they go to bed? It's like, I need that time to calm down and unwind and like, get myself right. I mean, sure, maybe I don't need as much time, but even if I'm just being on my phone, doing something relaxing. I need that time to wind down because I've had a long day. I mean, throughout the day, sure, there are times where I'm able to calm. It's not constantly go, go, go. Nothing's ever like that unless, like, I don't know, you're in a war zone or something where, like, you constantly have to be prepared and on edge. But still, and so it's like when I get home, it's like I don't want to do work. I'm already drained from the day. I have no motivation, and the motivation I do have to do, I feel like I wouldn't get my best work effort because how am I supposed to get anything done? You know, like most of the tutoring centers, they're closed. Uh, I try reaching out for people for help. I try reaching out friends and study groups, and it never seems like my schedule aligns with everyone. And it's like I don't want to blame people, and sure, I need to try myself, but it's like I'm trying to use my resources, and I'm trying to get help and do better, but it seems like when I try reaching out, it's like not, I don't even want to blame one person because it's not fair to blame one person, but it's like I reach out to a shit ton of people and it still feels like my needs are not getting met. I mean, socially and then also like school wise, because it's like I think it'd be for me, I mean, maybe there are times before where it's like maybe doing study groups and studying with like other people might not be helpful for me. It might actually be detrimental. I'm not sure, but I feel like that'd just be better. I feel like it would get me motivated if I had someone by me, even if we weren't doing the same work, to just be like, hey, yo, get on top of your shit. Let's do this together. Because it's like, I mean, sure, I can get myself to do work and get stuff done, but it's also helpful when you have someone in your corner motivating you and being like, you got this, and just knowing that they're there and like having someone. I mean, I think I've always been that way. It's like where I don't need to interact with a person or fully talk to them or be fully engaged, but if they're right next to me and then in the presence of me and I know that they care about me, like we could be doing two separate things, I think that would just be enough for me. And I know that's hard for some people because they're like they want if you're talking to someone and you're hanging out with a friend, you need to be fully engaged and you need to be fully present while talking to them. And I mean even now while recording this video, my mind is like kind of wandering everywhere and these words are just flowing out of me. Like I'm not even putting conscious thought to these words. But yeah, I just someone being with me and it just sucks because you feel, or why am I saying you feel? Now I'm thinking therapy terms. I've been in because I've been in group therapy. Oh, speak for yourself. Speak about yourself. Speak about yourself. Speak from your. I'd say that I feel that when I reach out to a lot of people, it's hard to not point it on one person and make it individual to them and blame them. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like I blame everyone. So like sure some people are there for me and they do more and they're there for more from others, but it's just like I feel let down when I don't get what I want. Like even if you do help me and you were there for me, you still get put in that category and group and box of like everyone who did let me down. Which sucks. It feels like a no win situation. Like an example coming to my head is like suicide. It's like or when people commit suicide because like you could be that one person that like reached out to the person and was their friend and was there when they need everything, but if they in the end of the day they still committed suicide, so it's like could have you done more and like should you have done more? And I mean that just gets into this whole ideological philosophical thing where it's like how much can we do? Do we do enough? Should we be bearing the brunt of other people's work? Like, should people be taking it on equally? Like, it shouldn't be on like one person. And I guess what I relate to that is like it shouldn't just be my family, my parents, my sisters, and like my family being there for me all the time and being the most supportive people. Like, my friends should also be there. I mean, yeah, I think that they should also be friends should also be there and be supportive and care about you and help you out. Like, it shouldn't just be my family. And I'm not saying it is just my family right now, but yeah, but then it's like I also know that I have high expectations that I, I don't want to sound negative, but that I am very needy because I don't like being by myself and dealing with my own emotions. That's why I smoke and drink, so that way I can't physically like it's hard to explain when you have ADHD and stuff, or maybe this is how everyone does, but like when you think your thoughts, it's like I have to do extra double time, like I can really hear myself thinking and going through the process, and I just want to stop that process of me thinking. Like it's like right now where it's like I'm somewhat conscious of what I'm saying, but it's just like I'm not even thinking. I'm just letting it flow through me and doing what I want, and I don't have to feel and think about thinking. If that doesn't that probably doesn't make sense. But yeah, but it's like I'm conscious while smoking, but like I'm also impaired. But it's like I'm not conscious enough that like I know what I'm thinking or that I'm actively going through a thought process. It just flows naturally out of me, and what happens is what happens. And it's also like you can can't take you can take you can't be accountable for it, which is good, which I think is why I've done that around, like, I've been smoked around, like, my female friends, because it's like, because especially the ones who I've had a crush on, because it's like, well, if I mess it up, I can't be accountable. If I say something that makes them uncomfortable, I can't be accountable. Or if I pull a move on them, I can't be accountable. Or and then it's also in reverse. It's like if they hurt me and if things get worse, then I'm not gonna feel it, and there'll be the what's it called? Like I'll think about it and I'll know what happened like after the whole fact. After the whole fact, I'm maybe even well being high. It's like I know what's going on and like they hurt me, but it's like the burden, the the brunt of the force is less and it hurts less because I'm not fully there. So like even though like oh you go back to the thing and I rethink it and I go back after it and it hurts less because I'm like hey I wasn't there in the moment, I wasn't present, so I couldn't have done anything and you couldn't have hurt me fully. Let's see, I've gone on this weird rant. I don't know. I guess there was a thing I wanted to talk about. Um, yeah, I guess I'll talk about it. The one thing I'm going about, oh damn, I've already been talking for 13 minutes. Jesus, time really flies when you feel like you can talk to anyone. And it feels like I can talk to you because it's essentially I'm talking to myself because no one's gonna watch this and I don't care if anyone. I mean, maybe I'll care if anyone sees this, but no one's gonna no one's probably gonna see this. So I'm talking to myself and I don't know. This leads into another conversation where there was a time where I don't know where like I feel like maybe I might be a hypochondriac or psychosymptomatic where there was have been times where I worried that I might have had DID, but maybe it's because like I was watching the show Moon Knight and everything, and like I was just fantasizing, and like I have a big imagination, because I started thinking like, oh, if I talked to myself a lot as a kid and I had a vivid imagination, does that early onset, like why is that normal to do? Is that a sign of autism? What is like that? And then it's like, well then I desperately wanted and I made attempts to try and talk myself, and I even gave myself a different accent and a personality, and I called myself Juan, and I spoke into like the stereotypical Mexican accent, well, because I'm Mexican and Colombian, but I don't think that's any right. And I also was like, yeah, oh, what's good? It was like a Thai Mexican stoner, which is like what I am. Um, yeah, and so I gave it a name and everything, and it's like, well, I'm just talking about this because I don't know why, but it just leads me down to the path where it's like, can can you develop a mental health condition or psychological condition just by thinking that you have it, or just by thinking in general about it so much that it becomes the reality and that your brain believes it to be true. Because I know that there are psychosomatic physical symptoms. Like I probably had them where like I've had like gut pain, I've had bowel issues, I've had irritable bowel syndrome because I've been in extreme anxiety and anxious over things. So I'm like, can you do that with mental health issues? I mean, I think you can. I mean, that it makes sense, right? Like if I just I mean, it's like if you put your literally like the quote and like what my dad says, like if you put your mind to it, you can do it, and it doesn't apply just for good things, but it applies to bad things. Like I'm not just not my case, but if someone just keeps thinking, oh, they start like there's that paranoia like oh on like WebMD like oh do I have this, and like WebMD tells you oh no you actually have a life-threatening disease, and then you start worrying, and then you start getting more symptoms of the disease, and it's like well if I do that, if you can do that with your mental health, it's like oh I see these warning signs of, or it says like oh if you have these signs you might have this mental health disorder, and then it's like can you go into that and start spiraling and start going into that and then actually getting the disease when you never even had in the first place, but just because you researched into it and started having fear and hysteria and paranoia that you had this, that you now developed it. I don't know. This is a weird rant of the diary. This is just stuff I think about. Yeah, because it's obviously like, am I worried if I have it? No, but it just worries me. Like, why do I don't know if I should keep saying fantasize, but it's like, why do I think about it? Why do I do it? I mean, I guess it's the same thing as smoking. That if I have DID and I have another personality inside of me, that I won't have to deal with the waking world 24/7, and I don't have to deal with all the pain that comes with it, and be held accountable for my actions. Sorry, some bubbles came up from the Dr. Pepper cream and soda that I was drinking. Or Dr. Pepper and cream soda, not cream and soda. Um, yeah, I think what I was saying is that can you I mean, there's isn't that can you believe something so much that it becomes true, or that like what yeah, or something along those lines. And I believe there's a lot of stuff in that. I mean, with mental with mental components, psychological, spiritual, like I'm and I'm not too religious, so I'm not the best to talk about religion, but I still think about it. But I mean, not even in terms of Judaism, just religion in general, is that these people are the people who believe, and who are or intensely believe in a higher power so much that they will not accept anything else, or maybe they will, but they believe in something because they have hope and they want it to be true. And it's like, yeah, it's like how much is the physical mind is the mind capable of? I mean, obviously we are limited by the bounds of the laws of the universe, physics, stuff like that. But I mean, I guess this would be an interesting idea for like a story. I should probably write this down. I'll look at this later and I'll remember. Gabe, if you're watching this, remember. I think I was watching. Oh God, I was remember like a couple months ago or something. I was watching a video about like, oh, what's your favorite anime? And a couple people said Gungan Laran, and it was like an anime about where someone literally surpasses all his limits and stuff. And I guess like One Punch Man is like that a little bit too, where he surpasses like his physical limits. Like humans literally have this limited, like this limit on them that like they can't defy because it's like a law of the universe. So like he literally passes it. Saitama. So I'm like, well, not just even turning passing a limit, but I'm just like, can I will something? Can I wish something? Can I believe something so outrageous that it becomes true? I mean, I guess that's that's like a crux of like schizophrenia, or like not just schizophrenia, but of like mental health thing is like the person they believe it's to be true, but it's not actually there. Like, well, I mean, to us it's not there. Oh my, I'm getting so philosophical right now, and such mental health and such thing. Yeah, but all right, I need to get out a pen and paper to because now I'm actually interested in this town. And all right. So here we're gonna explain delusions and schizophrenia 101. So person A believes hears, sees five one of five cent of the five senses of five senses one of five senses of a thing to be true. All right. So person A, they believe something. I mean, they believe something. This is mostly something like delusions, sounds, sights, smells, someone coming after them, something like that. Why am I talking about this? I guess this is my diary. I can talk whatever the fuck I want because I'm talking to myself. Fuck you, whoever's watching this. Yeah, so they believe something to be true, and they don't just believe it to be true. They believe it so intensely that they're so intensely they can't change their mind. Can't change their mind. Can't change mind. Or it causes them to be violent. Causes to be violent. Now, person B, or person or group of people, person B, group of people, they think that thing is not true. They think thing is not true. And so then it comes in terms to a conflict that person A and person A can also be a group. So A then disagrees with B. They start clashing, and because normally the thing that A group A believes is something that can't be explained by our natural laws of science, religion, etc., then we go along with persons B's thinking, and they're also the majority, we go along with them. So I think the philosophical question that I post and that I think about, or is just interesting to me, and I guess it's a field of psychology, is that, well, there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, but how do we know that person A isn't true? Because or the thing that they believe to be true isn't true. I mean, the the doubters could be in the wrong. It could be actually be there, but we just don't know. And maybe some person A has like this third eye, as they call them, like religion and like Hinduism or Buddhism. I forget which one. They have like this third eye where they could see beyond our plane of reasoning. So how's that the case? And then the other thing is like, I guess this is a psychologist question. Who knows? Maybe I'll ask Dr. Ivanenko one of these days. But it's like, how, when do you determine that this person is in danger? And it's like, and is actually like, they believe this because it's like, does, in order for it to be a mental health thing or like an issue, does this person have to believe the thing like 100%? Like, do they have to believe it with all their heart and it can't be changed unless by therapy or meds or whatever way of help? Like, do they have to believe it 100%? Or is it like, or can it be like somewhat like it's an intense, but because it's intense and it can get someone harmed, that's why they need help? Like, is it okay to like, oh, think these things and stuff? I mean, I guess that gets into imagination and stuff. Um, I'm losing my train of thought. It's like it's almost 11 o'clock and I'm tired. Um, yeah, this did not go where I wanted it to go. I was gonna talk about how I've messed up trying to spit some game with a girl, but I guess we can still talk about that. Jesus, almost 30 minutes. Yeah. I mean, I guess the reason why if I can talk to and I can get pretty straightforward, and I think that I've talked about this before, and I've said this in this video many times, is that I have a very vivid imagination. And so, yeah, my whole life since ever I was a kid, I've had a vivid imagination. I played make believe, I played make pretend, even as an adult, young adult, 20 years old, I still do. And it's weird to me because, and it's surprisingly, and I think I'm an outlier with how imaginative I'm going to be. And I think I'm going to be like this my whole life because, like, I hear a lot. I don't know where I got this notion from, but as you get older, your imagination, that little, like, light, imagine it as like a candle, or like, I guess since I'm childish, imagine it as a spark on a Charmander's tail. It starts getting dimmer and dimmer. It's still there. There's always going to be a small spark there, and it goes out the moment that you die, because obviously like your soul and stuff. But it gets dimmer. Some people can rekindle that spark, their imagination, creativity, whatever you want to call it. Some say the same, some gets bigger. But I think with me is that mine has always been a burning bright hotness. Like, it's, I don't want to compare myself to other people, but it's brighter than most. It's my imagination, my creativity, my passion, whatever you want to call it, whatever I want to call it, is bigger than most people, or it's more active, and it's more prevalent, and I utilize it more. And so I feel like as I get older, I'm gonna have more of it still than other adults do. I'm still gonna have this childlike sense of wonder. Who knows? I mean, maybe the world will beat me down and batter me and make me become a cynic and stuff. I mean, I feel like I know that's not going to be true because I've gone through so much hardship in my life already, only being 20. And sure, there are times where I'm like a cynic and stuff, and I'm absolutely depressed, or I absolutely hate the world and I have a negative viewpoint on it. But that's not how I truly believe, and I still want good for the world, and I'm a kind person. So yeah, so I think I just want what's best. And so I guess when I'm talking about my imagination is that how can you differ between at what point, oh God, this is going to be hard to say because I don't know if anyone ever is going to watch this. Um, at what point, because yeah, I think nowadays with mental health, you got to be careful with what you say because you don't want to end up anywhere. Don't worry, this is anything bad. I'm not going to harm myself or others. But at what point does my imagination turn into imagination, and knowing that what I'm imagining and what I'm thinking is not reality into something like schizophrenia. Yeah, it's hard to say, but it's good to come off my chest. But you know what I mean? It's like, what point does it like, you know? Because, I mean, God, maybe I'm making myself more paranoid, but it's like mental health runs in my family. I mean, one of my uncles, great cousin, he's my mom's cousin. I don't know what that makes him. I think that just be considered uncle. He has schizophrenia. My mom has depression. She takes medicine for it. My grandma takes depression medicine for depression. My dad deals with depression. So it's like, yeah. I mean, sometimes I wish that I didn't have to be so conscious and have such an active imagination and be conscious, and that I could just be in an institution or hospitalized, or that I'd be so low functioning that I wouldn't be able to think these things, because as the famous quote goes, ignorance is bliss. Who's more happy, a man who doesn't know all the pain that he has and that who's ignorant and stupid, or a smart man that has the weight of the world on his shoulders? He may be the smartest man and have the best job, but he knows he's going through a lot of pain and he can feel the pain. I mean, there's many other aspects to like who has it better, but in terms of like pain and suffering, well, it's obviously the person who can't feel the pain, who doesn't understand what's going on and how much pain they're being going through, is the one that's going to be better. And yeah. This it's a horrible thought. It's a horrible thought or thing to say. Oh, I wish I was a low functioning autism, born with low functioning autism. I was bound in a wheelchair. I couldn't speak. I couldn't get my words properly. I couldn't think. Like that's obviously horrible to say, and that would obviously cause a lot more complications for my family, and that'd be hard on my mom and dad and everyone. But yeah. Um. Yeah. Well, so I guess I'm gonna, because that's the name I already came up with for for my other personality. Personality. You even say, oh, you have such a great personality, and it's like maybe you have different personalities, like faces. Your personalities show up to different groups of friend groups of people. So I guess my personality, you, the camera. When people say I'm gonna call you Juan, because it might be a little bit no, it's offensive, but that's what I originally called it when I started it. So yeah, Juan. Um, should I would talk more, and I probably could go on for hours, but it's getting late. I'm getting tired. I want to upload this to YouTube, so at least I can have record of it. And yeah, so Juan, thank you so much, buddy, for listening. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today, and I really appreciate you. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you, Juan. Fuck, this is gonna be hard. Whatever, you got. I don't know. Why am I saying you guys? Who am I? I'm talking to myself. Maybe I'm talking, say, you guys as myself and Juan in third person. And then, I always think that there's gonna be. Who knows? I might have 69 personalities. Nice. Yeah. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll check in. Don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. What rhymes with stranger? Manger, banger, danger, canger, Blanger, Ranger, Tanger, Tamer, Tanger, Cranger, Aimer, Tamer. Don't be a stranger. Be a ranger. Don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. Stay out of yeah. That's it. That's easy. Don't be a stranger. Keep out of danger. All right. I love you. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And goodbye. Peace.